everybody. I am your host, Sheekha Singh, and you are listening to another episode of the Itch and Scratch Show by Sheekha, the podcast which is all about self improvement, growth, and creativity. It's all about real stories from real people. Today we have an interesting guest. I thought, why not support a local author? The guest for our podcast today is just 25 years old, and guess what? He has already written 10 poetry books and has self published them. They're all on Amazon. Go check it out. I have linked his Instagram handle, his books in the description box below. His artist and his brand name is Shweezy, which represents seeing the light in darkness. Shwayne's seventh book is going to be out pretty soon, and his collection is dedicated to being a role model, gratitude, and healing. Shwayne is so talented. He not just writes poetry or has published books, but also conducts a lot of events and has started painting recently on top of being a musician. He is full of surprises, so let's not waste any time and get to know Shwayne a little more. Have with us Shawayne Dunstan. Welcome, Shwayne. How are you?
Good evening. My name is Shawayne once again, and I'm doing good. It is a good day for a great day, I must say.
Nice. Wait, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just 24 years old, correct?
I just turned 25 on October 18th. This is what 25 is looking like.
Congratulations.
Life is really good. Still figuring out, but it should be astronomical this year onwards.
Awesome. Belated happy birthday.
Thank you.
And okay, so tell me, how does someone spin up 10 books and just be 25 years old?
So I think it's really about the role models in one's life, and I was blessed to have certain role models that saw that vision in me and the passion in me when I was younger. I was about let's say 13 or 12 years old, and I was in middle school. I was introduced to poetry by my English teacher, and she
Mm.
taught us about Leonard Cohen and Ruby Carr and artists such as Banksy, and that really sparked my joy. And I did a poem for the class, and it was so afterwarming that she said you should really stick with this, and I stuck with it throughout the years, and I ventured on to platforms such as Wattpad, and when I went home back to Jamaica after 11 years in 2016, my uncle was like, you know what, you should really go after it. So I came back to Canada. I got my first job at an Indian restaurant called Chaska, and
Oh,
I published my first book the day after my 17th birthday, which was
wow.
October 19th, 2016. And I already had material that had built up. So once I did the first book, which was Guilty by Association, I just kept
Mm.
with it. And now, about 8 years later, 9 years later, here we are. We're just come off the release of my 10th book, October Blue, and I'm planning my 11th book called Nova.
Nice. Congratulations. That is so inspiring. Tell
Thank you.
me, what would you do knowing what you know now at 25 years old if you had to go back and change things with your first book or the way that you wrote it? Or what is that one thing that you would tell your younger self, or the one thing that you would want to change?
Being kind to yourself. Um, it's
Spot on.
it can be like a harsh world. It can be a harsh ideologies and harsh times and such. But I would definitely tell myself to keep being kind to myself, and that's out of compassion. That's out of love. That's out of respect, self-respect. And honestly, I've always tried to go over and beyond for many people, but I think that maintaining that consistency with myself implements the ripple effect in the whole ocean of this world.
I agree. I totally agree with that. That is so cool. I wish someone had told me that when I was 16 years old. Things would have been different. Nice. Okay, so Shwed, you live in Banff, Alberta,
Yes, I
correct?
do.
So how long have you been in Banff? And do you think being in the mountains somehow influences what you write?
I've been in Banff for 3 years consecutively. The first time I was in Banff was between April and August of 2019, and it's
Mm,
left such a ripple effect on me that I proceeded on to come back in May 7th, 2021, and I've been here since. We do so much things for peace of mind, where we live, where we work, how long we do things, how many things we put up with when it comes to other individuals.
correct.
And I feel like Banff, in many aspects, can bring peace of mind, whether it's nature, whether it's the work life balance, whether it's just stepping out and having that fresh air, seeing less
Correct.
pollution, seeing that you can advocate for the community because it's such a small community and you can really leave an impact if you just step up to the mantle and step up to the pedestal, not feeling like you're inadequate or anything. And I feel like all these traits, along with the beautiful and lovely people that I've met, have really inspired me to, as I said, be a better person, be kinder to myself. And I don't think I would have it any other way.
Nice. And speaking of community, I've been watching your posts and updates about the talks and the sessions that you're conducting at the Banff Public Library.
Yes.
How's that going?
So that's going really lovely. I've had the pleasure to hold events at the Banff Public Library, at Banff National Park, at
Ooh,
Banff Town Hall, and also the White Museum and many other wonderful venues throughout the community. My next presentation is possibly on November 19th or 26th at Banff National Park. I still have to finalize the dates, but my most upcoming performance would be on Friday for the Recycling Council of Alberta at the Banff Springs Hotel.
nice.
So that's really good. It's really humbling. I think I should be more nervous, but I feel that my decisions when I was younger truly set me up for success and self belief and nothing less.
Okay, so tell me about these decisions that you took when you were younger.
I
What
think
is it that nurtured you to whatever you're doing right now or the person that you've become?
I think a lot of it starts with boundaries. A lot of it starts with trying my best to pursue the good in what I classify that as. And that's just trying my best to incorporate the mentality that I'm not necessarily better than anyone, but we're all in it together. And
Correct.
that's just trying to rise myself up through the mud, through the concrete, and rising others as best as to my personal capability. I think that also working so hard when I was younger, the late nights after school and after work and staying up till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and my father just saying like, hey, this is, this is going to drive you a little bit to like so much complex situations because you're not getting sleep. But
Right.
I knew that it's a dream and you have to live the dream. You have to breathe the dream. You have to taste the dream. So I know this is leading to bigger and better things. One of my ultimate goals is to get a lifetime achievement award. That's very ambitious, but
Ooh.
I went to a show at a Harry Jerome Award show in 2014 at the Metro Convention Center in Toronto,
Okay.
and I think the decisions that I've made have implemented me getting closer and closer to that goal.
Are you aiming for 30 under 30?
I've I don't know. I don't know. That'll be
Don't
really.
lie.
That'll
I
be.
think you are. I think
I
you
tried it
are.
one time. I tried it one time, and I never heard anything back. And I don't know if they didn't pull the draw yet or anything. But that would be cool. That would be really cool because like I just radiating positivity, you know, and
Love
trying to be
it.
a beacon of light in the darkness and all. And making these books is very hard. Sometimes I forget like how hard it is to write these books, but it is a beautiful thing to hold the physicality of the book in your hands and
Correct.
pushing forward, keep moving forward. I heard, um,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Shwayne, what would you say completely transformed you? Which book or which thought? Like, what was that moment when you decided, okay, I'm going to stop whatever I'm doing and I just want to become a writer? I'm going to publish books and I'm just going to focus on writing poetry.
That is a beautiful question.
Thank you.
And I have even more impromptu
Beautiful
answer.
answer.
Impromptu answer. Yes, but I must say beautiful answer as well. In 2020, I reread a book that I read like a couple years back, and it's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then the concept
Right,
of this book
absolutely.
is like, what would you do if you didn't have to worry about where you would work, what you would, your expenses and all? If everything's covered, what would you do with your time? And I asked myself that at 19 years old, and I was like, oh my goodness, what am I, what is next up? And I said, either something scared me in that moment or something made me very inspired because I planned my books out. Like at that point, I was on my seventh book, Drunken Fireflies Ensemble Lullabies. I planned my books out from then all the way to 2030, and now I'm halfway through that plan.
Wow, that is impressive.
Thank you. That is very. It's a very cool plan and everything. I'll tell you the books on that.
Wow.
Nothing scared me or really inspired me, I must say, because I just said, you know what, I'm going to just plan it all out. Hopefully, get a chance to finish the list of books because I just have names, but I have a kind of concept of what they're all about.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and the book that I mentioned, Drunken Fireflies from Ensemble Lullabies, I must say to start off that one is what really propelled me into another feat of stardom, I must say, because with that book, I doubled down on my apparel brand, which is Shweezy. I got that name in high school. And
Ooh,
that's along the lines of taking it easy with Shweezy, led into that brand, and serving up mains with Shawayne, and just all these different ventures that I tried during that era. And they started off small with sweaters and
okay.
shirts and sketchings, a little bit of sketching. And then now it's to a magnitude that the sketchings are in my books, that the apparel is now transitioned into more sweaters and more apparel and cups and everything is, but
Oh, wow.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I'll tell you that list. I don't know if you can see it, but come on. I
Let
don't.
me.
Nah, it's all good.
No,
It's
I
all good.
think you might have to send it. You might have to read it out louder.
So this was made on November 6th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. And
Okay.
it's called Upcoming Books. And the upcoming books are This Shared Moment with You, Tumblebug, October Blue, Nova, Rise of Shweezy, Let This Hold You Over, December's Hue, Morning Kisses and Iced Tea, Avenue 7, Tis a Vibe Indeed, Cotton Candy Skies. So those ones are from
Wow.
are stating as 2021 to 2030. I'm a year behind, but I'm still making time happen.
That's okay. You're doing a great job. Wow.
Thank you.
This is really, that was what you were thinking when you were 19 years old.
Yes, there's an I read many books. I don't read as many books these days, but there's a book that I read around the same time as middle school, and I read it over again throughout the years. But it's called If I Grew Up, and it deals with a
Hmm.
lot of the challenges and themes in the community that I was growing up in, and like what we saw on television, what we saw just in daily life, and it was a really early lesson to me that it's like life is such a precious thing, and
Correct.
as I turn 25 right now, and I'm sitting at a part that like many people dreamt to get to 25 and
Correct.
being abundant and being in love and being just amongst it all.
Correct.
That is nothing less than a blessing, and all that leads to lessons and reflections and just joy. I hope so much joy for the people that made it work, because all of our decisions have
Nice.
led us here.
Wow. So proud. So proud of you. How important is being creative to you?
I see creativity as an outlet.
Mm,
I see creativity as what moves us away from stagnation. I see creativity as what introduces individuality. I see
agree.
creativity as rose that grew from concrete. I see creativity as just the universe inside us. And if I can make something, if I can say something, if I can create something, you're able to internalize that and relate to that and take from that. That's a beautiful thing. That's priceless because we're
Correct.
all caught up in our own worlds. And that's totally fair. But the fact that we can look outside of those blinds, look past those four walls, look past the eyes, and just say, you know what, I see you for you, and I see your
Correct.
soul for you, and I accept you. I relate to
Correct.
you. I disagree with you. Any of those senses, but that's still an impact, and that's a ripple effect. Ripple effect. And I once said that change is a ripple effect of a stone casted into a pond.
Ooh, perfect. That is amazing. Now I'm going to ask you something different.
Okay.
So you've published 10 books
Yep.
and you go to all these events, you're a part of the community, you have all these different ventures that you mentioned. How does being an artist pay? Does it pay well, or I just want to know what the truth is?
I think I thought about this question being, as I said, being amongst it, like being an artist, and like before I decide that I wanted to just venture into an artist, it's like has the capacity to.
Okay.
If you put enough time, if you
Okay.
put enough effort, if you don't expect it but embrace the miracles that come along the way. But all that is from determination, connections, reputation, respect, understanding that trading your service for monetary, you're trading your service for
Correct.
critique, for like so many different aspects. One day you realize that a person in the mirror is not the enemy. That's your greatest asset. Your mind, that's an asset. Your mouth, that's an asset. Your hands, that's an asset. You have such great power, and it might be that sketch or painting that you never thought that somebody would like, that you just gave to. You're like, oh, here's this amount of money. Somebody would be like, okay, here's a chocolate bar. Here's some funding for it. Like it's like all those things. That's gonna
Right.
push me further from today to tomorrow and beyond. Maybe that chocolate bar like the energy to just like push forward. Maybe final thing I'll say on that is that don't let your creativity compromise your peace of mind, and don't let your peace of mind compromise your creativity. I
True.
think it's a little bit like a yin and a yang. Don't feel that the other things in life can't pave the way for self-expression.
Wow. Insightful, I'd say.
Thank you.
That's beautifully put. Okay. So tell me this. I know you mentioned about your uncle and how he kind of supported you and pushed you towards just doing it because he saw the potential in you. What about your other family? Did you have enough support from your family when you chose to be a writer and publish your books?
When it comes to family members and the books and all, I feel like with my parental figures, I've always sought the validation uh, that I'm as
Same.
established as, whether it's like authors that they looked up to or role models that they looked up to, and how I could pave that pathway for myself or my siblings and future children and such. Sisters have always been a really emotional and trusting and bountiful support system to always give me
Nice.
back regular feedback, and they'd read over the manuscripts and they would make sure that I'm remaining positive as best as possible, or like they ask questions of, don't just leave that script, that manuscript like that. You'll find the energy to create that difference than
That's nice.
the all the time to go beyond and dig deeper. I would say that my little brothers and my younger siblings, I saw it as paving that way for them, showcasing that what is possible if you put your mind to it. Because this is not easy. It's really not easy.
It's
But
not
I
at
never want to
all.
be like the person that's like, poor me, poor my, but recognizing the resources around you. Recognizing that
True.
it's okay not to be okay, and recognizing that family will always have you. That's where it stems from. Generational wealth, legacy.
I like the way you think. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Thank
I
you.
love it. I love it. And you're just, how are you just 25?
Yeah, 99, eh?
Just 25 and you're talking about these wonderful thoughts, and no wonder you write poetry. I can see it now. I can clearly see it,
Thank you, thank you.
where it comes from. I was going to ask you, like, what fuels you and how do you get into that zone of writing poetry and everything? But I see it. It's already everything's in you. I think the people around you, but you answer that question. You tell me what influences your writing. I know you've already mentioned the mountains and your family, but what is it that actually fuels you?
Life is art and art is life.
Mm.
And definitely the capacity that I can do better and that today is a gift. That's why it's called a present. And that if I'm saying that I can do better, I can push myself further than I did yesterday in a healthy and cooperative way.
Oh,
That I can influence the next generation to a positive degree to let them know that it's okay to have these emotions.
correct.
Because when I first started off out with guilty by association, it seemed like I was angry in my writing. Um, and then as it unfolds, it's like, no, there's pain there. It's like an onion. There's pain there. Happiness, there's joy. There's feeling regret. There's feeling need for guidance. When I'm going to write, I look within to a younger me, and I said, "How do I make you proud today?" Do I say that to myself?
Wow. That is a whole lot of inspiration and motivation that you are giving to your own self. It
Thank
is
you,
commendable, Shawayne. It
thank you,
is
thank you.
really amazing. Keep that up. Don't let anything even take 1% of all this amazing energy and thought process that you have. Don't let anybody take that away from you,
Thank
ever.
you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you one last question. You mentioned you want to be in one of those lists, which I clearly think you're aiming for 30 under 30, but we'll see. You still have 5 more years.
Yeah.
And then you're going to publish your 11th book pretty soon here.
Yeah.
But other than that, what are your future goals that you're looking forward to?
Uh, I never really considered myself a musician until last year. Let's say this April, I went to Calgary and I went to New Horizon Mall, and they have a piano there. They had a
Okay.
piano there, and I
Okay.
tried it out, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is really cool." So I started recording myself, and that's the first time that I tried it out, and I got better, so better that I rented a keyboard from the library, tried it out, and everything. And I was like, "Okay, cool. What's next? Guitar. Okay, I'm
Wow.
gonna try guitar." So I've been trying guitar over the last couple of weeks. My girlfriend has a guitar, and I've just borrowed her guitar to just make some videos. If you have the knack for it, it is truly
Yep.
a beautiful process. I would like to learn how to make more instruments. I would like to. I'm doing painting now. Painting a
Ooh.
lot of things. If I may, I will. This is
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That's nice. You might have to send me a picture of that so that I can post it on socials for you.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, I have some
It's
photographs,
cool.
and they're all a majority of the paintings are on my Instagram, which is Shawayne508. And yeah, I'm just trying to give the day a try. And
Wonderful. That was truly wonderfully spoken. I
thank you.
know I told you that this is going to be the last question, but before we end, Shwayne, any tips or suggestions for someone who would really love to write or publish their own books but just haven't, you know, they lack your motivation or that amount of inspiration that you have inside you. You inspired yourself to do all these things by doing a lot of different things, and you're aspiring for even more. What tip or suggestion would you give to someone who really wants to write or publish a book but just haven't gotten there yet? Or maybe they want to, but they don't know, they're just waiting for that nudge. What would your tip be?
Don't be afraid to be vulnerable, and it's okay not to understand the imperfections. With my writing, I've written some things over the years that I said, "How could I write that and put it out into the world?" And I think it's the mentality that I was like, "This is my voice." And in a world of media and news and politics and everything, you have to value your voice. You really have to
Correct.
value your vulnerability. You don't have as much as I'd like at this moment.
Correct.
I'm in pain and all, but it is okay not to be okay. And a lot of beauty can stem from that vulnerability, because vulnerability is part of the process of healing. Perfection doesn't exist, truly. There's always going to be something that somebody doesn't align with the writing and all, and how you do your style.
Correct.
But no one knows how to get it done than you, because you know your vision. Um,
Correct.
that's definitely true for when it comes to my poetry, because I'm the only one that knows how it can be done, because it's not like a traditional book. So that
Yep.
is going to take a lot of work. And I can't lie to you, it takes so much work, and there's long nights, and maybe you don't get as much recognition as you'd like. But when
Correct.
you make it through those storms, you get the moments such as this. You meet beautiful people, and you have incredible and impeccable, inspiring and divine moments, and you're like, wow, perhaps I didn't know before, but I know now that this is what it's about. That networking, connection, respect, discipline,
Correct.
and once again, vulnerability.
Nice. Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Wayne.
Thank you.
Well, I think the next time that I'm going to talk to you, or the next time you'll be on the podcast again, I think you'll be a very successful writer. Plus, you would have gotten or would have been nominated for the 30 under 30 award. You'll be a musician, and I think you'll be just an amazing speaker.
Thank you.
And not just any speaker, I think you're going to make an amazing inspirational speaker.
Thank you.
I see that in you already.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
I
It,
know so. I think you're going to be incredible in the next few years.
Thank you. Thank you. I just have to push forward towards then, and remain the self belief, and remember my foundation, as you said before, with the family aspect, with the community, and
Yes.
one of the last things I'll leave you with. It was raining yesterday in Canmore, and I remembered a quote. I can't remember if I wrote it or I came across it because it's been so long, but it says, "It's more than a drizzle, but the sky is crying a little."
Ooh,
Yeah. But that doesn't mean it to be face value of like just that can be from rising from a storm and knowing that it'll pave the way for rainbows and sunshine and everything. But even it's okay to just have a moment to reconvene and remember the dream.
perfect. And with that beautiful inspirational quote and thoughts, I thank you, Shwayne, for being a wonderful guest on the podcast. And I really wish you all the very best for your future, your goals, and everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure having you on the show, Shwayne.
It was definitely a pleasure. Never better. I hope that this inspires many people out there, because the hope is needed.
Yes. Thank you. All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to stay raw and to stay you. Take care. This is your host, Sheekha Singh, signing off. Bye bye.